Well, the Basic Education Department has moved the 2019 supplementary exams from March to June in an effort to give learners enough time for revision as well as to enable them to rewrite their subjects. The Matric exams are already underway. Results are expected to be released on the 3rd of January 2019. The spokesperson and media liaison officer for the Minister of Basic Education, Troy Martens, joins us now in studio. Very good evening to you, Troy. Thank you very much for your time.
Good evening.
Essentially, let's just have a look at the last couple of years that we've seen the exams, specifically the Matric exams, being riddled by leaked exams as well as corrupt invigilators. How has this year been different, and how has the department been able to monitor that?
So we've put a number of mechanisms in place to really address some of these persistent issues that have come up. For example, we've done extensive invigilator training. We've also gone through a process where we've audited all our exam storage facilities. As you know, there was an issue where a paper was leaked in Limpopo in the past, and that was from a storage facility. So we've upped the requirements for those storage facilities. We've also done a risk profile on all our examination centres. So, for example, if an examination centre has been involved in any kind of malpractice in the past, we have a permanent invigilator and moderator that's stationed there. So we have a number of mechanisms, and we're pleased to say that they seem to be bearing fruit because we haven't had any major incidents reported in this examination so far. If I can touch some wood so far, because they are still underway.
We do know about details of an alleged exam leak that took place in KZN. Of course, it was then denied by the department as saying that it was a hoax. Tell us a bit about that.
It was a hoax and a very unfortunate incident, because I don't know what the thinking behind someone doing something like that. It was just to create confusion. There was no leak of any exam paper, and we obviously would like to reiterate that there hasn't been a leak and that exams would be going ahead as continued, and that exam did go ahead as was planned. So, you know, I don't know why people like to spread this kind of fake news and cause confusion and cause anxiety at a time when learners are already stressed out. They already have anxiety about these examinations, and it's really just cruel to do such a thing.
Yeah. You know, we've seen horrid images of learners working under very, very poor, very, very sad conditions. A case in point in Limpopo as well as in Eastern Cape. Understandably, these are also the two poorest performing areas when it comes to national senior certificate exams. What implementation, what changes has government implemented this year on that?
Are we talking about infrastructure? Is that?
Yeah, in terms of infrastructure, and then also the department saying that they wanted to have a focus in being able to improve the pass rate in the province, specifically in the Eastern Cape.
So we've done a lot of work in the 3 poor-performing provinces, and unfortunately there are also our more rural provinces, and that would be Limpopo, Eastern Cape and KwaZulu-Natal. And we've done specific focused interventions in those provinces where the Minister herself as well as the Director General have held meetings with all principals, with all district directors, to really look at what some of the challenges are and to address them head on. And we are seeing results. If you look at the 2017 results, you'll see that actually the Eastern Cape was the most improved province in last year's examinations. So we are very excited that we are starting to see these green shoots coming through, but obviously we're coming from a low base in those provinces, and we do need to continue and do a lot more work. We've also seen quite successful spring and winter schools held in those provinces, and the Director General also visited some of those spring and winter schools. And, you know, what's really great about these is that it gives those learners that extra opportunity for that revision time, for that study time that they may not necessarily get in their home environment. They may not have a dedicated place where they can sit down and study. So these have been some of the interventions that we really hope will bear some fruit when we release the results.
Now, just very briefly, because we are pressed for time, just take us through the decision now to move the supplementary exams in aid of learners.
So basically what we found is a lot of learners were registering for the supplementary exams, but then they weren't pitching up on the day to actually write the exams. And what we found is there wasn't really enough time. They didn't feel prepared enough to get their results in January and have to start writing in February and March. So we've decided to move these exams to the end of May, June, in the middle of the year, where learners will have enough time to actually really wrap their heads around the revision, focus on the areas that they've been struggling with, focus on where they need to, make use of all the support material that we have available on all of our platforms, and to really be able to constructively participate in those exams. So we're expecting this to be quite a big exam. We also have our Second Chance Matric Support Program, and those learners will also be writing their exams in June. So we think it's going to be a bigger exam, and we're hoping that we'll see more learners actually take up this opportunity.
Yeah, definitely. Great initiative, great decision there. Of course, speaking on the 2018 National Senior Certificate Examinations, as well as the progress, and also giving us some of the implementations for next year's supplementaries to allow learners to have a second chance. A spokesperson and immediate liaison officer for the Minister of Basic Education, Martens. We thank you very much for your time.
Thank you so much.